The Nintendo Switch 2 is now official and coming out in a few months. Finally, a more powerful Switch system! Today, I will tell you all about my experiences with the OG console. This is part 3 of this series, so make sure you check out the previous parts if you don't want to miss anything. March 2019 was a slow month, but we still got a brand new Yoshi game on the 29th, Yoshi's Crafted World. I remember playing Woolly World quite a lot on the Wii U. It was lovely, charming, cute, beautiful, and pretty fun actually, so seeing Crafted World made me quite happy. I'ma be honest, it's good, but not as good as Woolly World. I feel like this one focuses so much on exploring the same levels over a million times to get all of the collectibles that it eventually gets really repetitive. You have to play every level one time to beat them, then you get to play them backwards to collect all of those little cute poochies, which is an interesting mechanic. But then you gotta go back a few times to collect hidden items and whatnot. And yeah, it eventually starts to feel like a chore. I have a feeling that this one was less polished compared to Woolly World, but it's very fun in its own way. Remember that Captain Toad game that was released on Switch in 2018? You know, that port of a Wii U game, one that you already played a while ago? Well, guess what? You can now purchase the Captain Toad Special Episode DLC, featuring 5 new courses and 13 challenges. That's cool, I guess. If you're a fan of it, it's good, but I personally didn't bother with this one. April was a special month, as the first new thing that was released was another Nintendo Labo kit. Yay! More cardboard! The VR kit has finally arrived, and after you build this thing, you can slide your Switch inside of it and hop into the infinite world of virtual reality. It was pretty meh, and the resolution for the Switch screen is clearly not meant for VR experiences. But it doesn't really matter, because 2 free updates were released, one for Zelda and one for Mario Odyssey. And well, now you can play both these games in VR. This was kinda neat, but very limited. And I mean, this VR thing just gives me a headache after 5 minutes of experiencing it, so it totally wasn't for me. But I can still appreciate the effort that went into this. Cuphead was also released on the Switch, and since I had never played this one before but had heard great things about it, I decided to download it, and wow, it's actually amazing! The art style is just insane and really replicates the feeling of those old cartoons from back in the days when I wasn't even born. It's a really difficult game, and it kicked my ass many times, but I eventually got better and made my way to the end. Super Smash Bros. Finally released its first character from the Fighter Pass paid DLC, and it is none other than Joker! I never played the Persona franchise, so I have no clue who this guy is, but hey, it's a new character for Smash Ultimate, so I can only be happy about this. That was pretty much all that happened during this month. Oh, well, I guess Nintendo finally revealed the release date for Super Mario Maker 2, so you know, there's that. May has arrived, and well, it was a pretty relaxing month in terms of releases. Capcom did re-release Resident Evil 4, but this time for the Switch. And you know, as a guy that played the GameCube version, and then the Wii version, and then the iPod Touch version, yeah, that's the thing, you knew I had to pick it up for the Nintendo Switch and play it yet again. Man, this game is just fun. I love it. I was also contacted by Konami to see if I would like to receive a code for the Castlevania collection on Switch. And I mean, sure, why not? Those are all great games. This collection features all of the NES titles, the SNES titles, and a few extra ones that I hadn't heard about. These games are all fun, and I was glad to be able to play them on the go with the Switch. Oh, by the way, do you still have the Nintendo Labo VR cardboard kit laying around your house? Well, grab it, because Nintendo released a free update to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And well, guess what? You can now have a free headache while playing a good old match of Smash Bros. Isn't that just great? A sequel to Detective Pikachu was also announced to be coming out on the Switch eventually, and well, I actually enjoyed the movie, so yeah, sure, why not? Obviously, the main thing that happened in May was the Super Mario Maker 2 Nintendo Direct, which was 17 minutes of pure goodness. So many new things were revealed during that trailer, including a brand new story mode, a thing that the Wii U version sure as heck lacked. New course themes were revealed, such as desert, snow, forest, and sky, and there's now a way to turn day into night, and that actually brings in gameplay changes, like reverting the screen or making Mario floaty. The thing is, the main new thing for this game was a brand new game style based on Super Mario 3D World. Yup, you'll be able to create levels featuring power-ups, enemies, and hazards from this game. The game style is completely separate and features its own set of rules and such, making it incompatible with the previous ones. But that's okay, as it makes it really special. Online multiplayer was also revealed with up to 4 players being able to play it, and well, this got me pretty excited about the game. Thankfully, it was coming next month, so the wait wouldn't be too long. Hey, it's June now, and that means E3 was yet again happening that month. Once again, I decided to fly to Los Angeles to experience it, and I met up with pretty much everybody from Minus World. We got this amazing Airbnb with a pool and everything, and yeah, seriously, it was a blast. We all watched the Nintendo Direct from that house, and well, let's get to the good stuff Nintendo had in stock for us. A new fighter was revealed for Smash Ultimate, the hero from Dragon Quest. And well, I haven't played this series, but it's still pretty exciting, I guess. More infos about Luigi's Mansion 3 were revealed, letting us know a bit more about the story and the gameplay. The same thing goes with the Link's Awakening remake, which was finally given a release date of September 2019, so that was pretty cool. Fire Emblem Three Houses was given a full-fledged trailer, and Capcom revealed that more Resident Evil titles were coming to the Nintendo Switch. I mean, at this point, we almost have the entire series on the dang thing. No More Heroes 3 was also shown, and as a fan of the first 2 games on Nintendo Wii, I was more than excited to see this series back. Daemon X Machina was also given a release date, so for the 2 people that are actually interested in this game, this must have felt great. Pokemon Sword and Shield had a segment telling us more about the game, so that's neat. A new game made by Platinum Games was revealed, called Astral Chain, and in this one, you play as a cop that has a robot thing on a chain, and you use that robot thing to attack other robot things? Why do Platinum Games always come up with the strangest ideas for video games? A new game from the creators of Crypt of the Necrodancer was revealed called Cadence of Hyrule, and it's actually a musical Zelda game. And well, it's weird, but it looks amazing. This game was actually coming out 2 days after the Direct, and I actually played it, so I'll tell you more about it later. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games was also revealed, and well, yay, I guess. The Direct then showed a gameplay trailer for the brand new Animal Crossing game titled New Horizons, and the release date was March 20 of the year 2020. Last but not least was the reveal of yet again a new Smash Bros character. This one is Banjo and Kazooie! Oh man, I can still hear everyone scream in that house when we saw that. We were so excited. The bird and the bear were highly requested characters to be added in Smash, and well, it's finally happening! Personally, I was way more excited about the final announcement this Direct would give us. Yup, that's my boy Link, and that's Zelda. A sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is in development. I mean, we all knew that already, but now that it was official, it felt way more real. Pretty solid E3 Direct. Very exciting stuff, and guess what? We still haven't gotten to the games I played in June. Well, first off, Cadence of Hyrule was my introduction to the Necrodancer series. And wow, I really love that game. Basically in this game, there's music playing with a clear beat and rhythm, and you can actually only move to the rhythm of the music, so you have to plan ahead in order to attack enemies instead of being attacked. The game features the classic Zelda staples, like dungeons, items, secrets, a big map, and well, it's just fun from beginning to end, and it's also pretty cheap, so it's great value. Obviously, the big release this month was Super Mario Maker 2, and wow, I mean, this game is just insane. Infinite Mario levels to play, infinite ways to create new levels, a big-ass story mode, multiplayer, online multiplayer I should even say. I played this game to death, like hundreds upon hundreds of hours. I created my levels, I played all of the levels I could find, and wow, this game is just amazing. It contains so many different tools you can use to create your own levels, and some amazing levels were already being created on day one. I already knew that I was holding onto a diamond, a game that would keep me busy for years to come. And well, I wasn't wrong, as I actually created a whole new series that went on for a solid year called Super Nicobbq, where I was playing levels my viewers were creating for me every single day. I streamed this game like once a week, and yes, it was just insanely good. I love it. The online experience was okay at best, as most levels are not made for multiplayer, but eventually some levels were created with multiplayer in mind, and well, I played a crap ton of these with my boys from Minus World. We have lots of videos on the channel still up, so if you want to see me troll the heck out of everyone, well, give those a watch. The month of July wasn't tailor-made for me, that's for sure, because I didn't buy a single Nintendo game that month. Sure, Fire Emblem Three Houses was released, and well, it's a good game series and it's highly appreciated, but I just didn't care for it that much. I eventually played it, so I can say a bit about it. Basically, the game features all of the good Fire Emblem gameplay the series is known for, but they decided to add a Hogwarts simulator in between the missions. Yup, instead of just fighting a war over and over again, you now have to go to school, you gotta talk with teachers and students, you gotta feed them some food to improve your morale and your bonds with them, and I just didn't care for that. I just wished this game allowed me to skip all of that without punishing me too badly. But alas, I just grew out of it and never finished it. I know I'm gonna get hated by hardcore fans, and I'm sorry, I really wanted to like that one, okay? But I just couldn't. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was also a new game that was published by Nintendo that month, and well, as a guy that just didn't care for the first two games, you bet I didn't play that one either. It looks decent to be honest, but yeah, that's pretty much all I know about it. July was also the month where a big problem was about to hit Nintendo right in the face. If I say Joy-Con drift, does that ring a bell? Yeah, obviously now we all know about the fact that the analog sticks in Joy-Cons have a tendency to eventually start drifting, rendering the controllers basically useless. But back in July of 2019, this was only starting to become a thing. Some news articles were being published, and the thing was being more mainstream, with thousands of users saying they got the problem with their original Joy-Cons. Nintendo basically said they didn't think that was a real thing, but they were offering repairs for free anyways. So in a way, I guess deep down they knew they messed up, but their lawyers just told them to remain silent. Personally, I only have one Joy-Con that suffered from this, and it was my OG left Joy-Con. I don't really use it anymore because of that, and well, since I pretty much always play using my Pro Controller, I actually never bothered to get it fixed. I'm a bit stupid, I know. The month of July was also the month of Nintendo revealing a brand new console. Yup, out of the blue, Nintendo released a trailer for their newest console, the Switch Lite. This new version of the Switch will be out in fall and will be dedicated to handheld play. That means you won't be able to dock it to your TV. Oh, and the Joy-Cons also do not detach on this model. It's obviously going to be cheaper than the original Switch, and I mean, why not? I feel like this console could be a great addition for younger gamers, and for those that just want to switch on the go without the risk of breaking their OG Switch. I know the reception was pretty much mixed, but personally, I don't really care. Giving more choices to the player is always good. Speaking of choices, the original Switch model also got a revision during that period. Nothing really changed performance-wise, and the price remained the same, but the new model will feature a better battery, so it's gonna increase the battery life. That's pretty cool. But just before we move to August, Nintendo dropped one of their most important updates ever. Captain Toad will now support Nintendo Labo VR! Finally! I know everybody was waiting for that one! Welcome to August, and the main new title that arrived on the Switch is Astral Chain. You know, that weird game where you control a cup with a robot on a leash? Yeah, this is a very strange one, but I love the Bayonetta franchise, so as this one came from the same studio, of course I gave it a try. And it's okay, I guess. You control a cop and you gotta solve crimes by finding clues, and eventually you'll enter a second dimension where you have to use the astral chain to control a mech that fights for you. Getting used to the controls took me a while, but I did play it for a couple hours. Sadly, it didn't hit me as hard as Bayonetta did, so I eventually just gave up on the game and I probably went back to Mario Maker or something. Besides that, the new Switch model with the better battery life that I mentioned earlier also came out during that month, but I didn't buy it, so yeah, I have nothing to say about it. September is the month where the new Zelda remake finally arrived on store shelves. But first off, we have to discuss the Nintendo Direct that happened at the beginning of the month. This one started off with the announcement that Overwatch was coming to Nintendo Switch. And well, I guess that's cool. I played a lot of Overwatch on PC back in the days, so sure, why not? We got more news about Luigi's Mansion 3 and its different game modes, and now we know the game is coming out on October 31st, so I know what I'll be doing after trick-or-treating. A new free-to-start Kirby game was announced and released immediately after the Direct, and I'll tell you more about it in a minute. Banjo and Kazooie for Smash Ultimate were given a release date, so that's good, and then Terry from SNK was revealed as the next character that would be added to Smash. And well, this was leaked beforehand, so the surprise was ruined a bit. Tokyo Mirage Session FE Encore was announced for the Switch, and this is a port of a Wii U game. I don't know much about this series, but I mean, more games is always good, I guess. Pokemon Sword and Shield got a little update showcasing character customization and a brand new cooking mode. The release date was also announced, and well, this game will be out in November. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition was unveiled at the end of the Nintendo Direct, and well, I actually own this one, I just haven't played it yet. I've heard great things about it though, so I'll be checking it out eventually. Last but not least, a new perk of being subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online was revealed. SNES games! I mean, we all expected that to happen at some point, but it's good to see that it's finally coming out. When can we play these games? Well, the following day. That was fast. The selection is actually pretty decent and features some amazing games. Oh, and Nintendo will also introduce a wireless SNES controller for the Switch, just like they did with the NES edition last year. Can you believe I also bought these? I'm really a sucker for Nintendo things. That was pretty much everything cool that I care about during the Direct. Alright, now let's talk about the new Kirby game that came out during that month, Super Kirby Clash. This is a free-to-start downloadable title where you control Kirby and his friends and you clash against evil, wicked bosses. Basically, you have to pick a quest featuring a monster to defeat, and then you gather a team of Kirbys, and after that, you pretty much kill the enemy. That's all, that's the game. As you play it, you'll get some gem apples that are needed to unlock bigger and better quests, and well, this is a free-to-start game, meaning that you can actually purchase gem apples on the eShop with real money to speed up your gameplay. I'm not the biggest fan of these types of games, but this one was alright, I guess. I didn't spend real money playing it, but I did enjoy the couple hours I spent with it. Daemon X Machina finally came out, and well, as I didn't really care for the game, I didn't buy it. And it also received mixed reviews as well. As it turns out, the game was pretty meh, and yeah, I don't know a single soul that actually played it. Alright, now it's time to discuss Zelda Link's Awakening. Well, all I'm gonna say is that the game is very faithful to the original Game Boy game. I felt right at home playing this one, and it's actually quite fun. My main problem with this one is that it kinda suffers from frame rate issues when you move around the map, and that gets annoying real fast. Thankfully, this problem doesn't occur in caves or dungeons, but still, as you spend a lot of time on the map, this game gave me headaches if I played it for too long. Frame rate issues aside, not much has changed in this remake, as it features all of the dungeons, puzzles, and characters the original game had, which is pretty cool. It can be a bit cryptic sometimes, and I did have to check out a walkthrough at some point because I didn't know how to get to the frickin' animal village. One of the few new features the game introduces is the ability to create your own dungeon by visiting Dampé and giving him pieces of dungeons you'll find through your quest. This allows you to rearrange rooms around and create your very own personal Zelda dungeon. In a way, this is almost like a Mario Maker type of thing, but for Zelda. The problem is, you cannot share those dungeons online. What was Nintendo thinking? If you want to share one of your dungeons, you have to scan an amiibo and then use that amiibo on a friend's console? That reminds me of when we used memory cards back in the GameCube days to bring our saves and characters to a friend's home. Like, come on Nintendo, the year isn't 2002 anymore. Why do you have to make such stupid decisions? Ring Fit Adventure was introduced during September, and man, this trailer scared me. I was afraid we were getting back to the Wii days where everything Nintendo was releasing was aimed toward casual gamers and their grandmas. Thankfully, the game does not look like shovelware, and it might even be a great way to exercise. The trailer demonstrating the different features was very cringe though, but you know what, I'm gonna let that one slide for now because the game looks actually good. September was also the month where the Nintendo Switch Lite came out, and well, you know, I had to pick one up. I went for the turquoise color because I think it looks neat, and guess what? My original console had the Joy-Con drift. Yup. Of all the places I could get a joystick problem, it had to be the freaking portable console without detachable Joy-Cons. Thankfully, I phoned Nintendo's customer support and they actually replaced my console for free in like 5 days or so. So yeah, that was actually quite fast. The final game I played in September was Ori and the Blind Forest. This was one of the best Metroidvania ever made. Ori is such a good game. The art style and graphics are wonderful, the controls are precise, and exploring its diverse world never gets old. When I decided to give this game a try, I think I beat it the following day. I just couldn't stop myself playing, it was that good. And well, I think that's pretty much all that happened in September. That was actually quite a lot. And then, that was a costly month for a Switch gamer. Compared to September, well, October was pretty smooth, as the main game the Switch would receive was Luigi's Mansion 3, the brand new entry in the series. I really like this game, and I feel like it really pushed the Luigi's Mansion formula quite far compared to what the second game did on 3DS at the time. This new one takes place in a big hotel, and each floor features different rooms, themes, enemies, and bosses to fight. The game features so many twists and surprises, and the new mechanics are also well polished. Using Luigi to solve puzzles is very entertaining and also pretty original. I played this game a couple times online with my friend, and well, it's actually pretty fun to see a bunch of Luigis and Guigis running around all over the place and screaming non-stop. That is some A-tier gaming experience. A sequel to Yooka-Laylee was released, and this one is actually a 2D side-scroller, which is an interesting change. Sadly, as I didn't really enjoy the first game that much, I didn't really bother with the sequel, but it looks alright, not gonna lie. I probably should have given this one a try. Ring Fit Adventure came out this month, and well, it's actually quite fun. Nintendo really managed to make an exercise game super fun and very challenging. This is an RPG, and you fight enemies by doing those crazy physical moves with the plastic ring you own, and wow, this game actually made me sweat quite a lot. This is actually a great way of getting some workout done home in a fun way. Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 are now out, so if you enjoyed these games in the past, well, now is the perfect time to actually play them again. I personally strongly dislike RE6, so I have no intention of replaying that one, but Resident Evil 5 was actually one of my favorite games on the PS3, so I'm glad to be able to play it again on the Switch. A remake of Monkey Ball Banana Blitz for the Wii has been released, and well, it's Monkey Ball, it's simple, addictive, and fun. You roll the monkeys around and you avoid falling down. Personally, Banana Blitz wouldn't have been the game I would have remastered first, but this is the one we have now, so let's just enjoy it. It's now November, and Race with Ryan finally came out. Game of the year right there, folks. Nah, actually, the real deal was Garfield Kart Furious Racing. A lot of trash games actually came out in November. As for the actual good games, well, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 came out, and well, I didn't play it, but I've heard it's okay. New Super Lucky Stale also came out, and I remember playing that one at a Nintendo event during E3, and I thought it was actually decent. But obviously, the big deal this month was the release of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. And well, these games are actually quite fun, the new starter Pokemons are cool, and the story is pretty neat. The game doesn't really change the formula of Pokemon games that much, but I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't need to. The gameplay is fun, the new Pokemons are cool, and those big open world areas are actually quite interesting. You get to move around in a big world, and you get to see the Pokemon move around in the wild, so it's easy to see what Pokemon you want to fight and catch. All in all, this is a very solid game. The Five Nights at Freddy's series was also released on the Switch during that month, and if I wasn't afraid of jump scares, I'm sure I would have enjoyed it. But I'm a bit of a coward, I suppose, so I didn't pick any of these games up. They are too spoopy for me. During Black Friday, Nintendo unveiled a brand new bundle where they had the original Nintendo Switch model with Mario Kart 8 included as a full game download for the same price as the Switch. Basically, you get a free game, so that's neat. I'm sure Nintendo's gonna release amazing Black Friday bundles like this one in the future. They're not gonna be releasing the same one for years and years to come. That'd be pretty dumb, eh? Ho ho ho! Happy holidays! And welcome to December. And well, this was a very slow month to say the least. A new DLC was released for Shovel Knight called The King of Cards. And well, it's actually quite fun, but that's pretty much the only thing I got in December. Super Mario Maker 2 got a legendary update on December 5th, where a couple new items were added to the game, including the Master Sword, an item that turns Mario into Link, allowing him to use his bombs and arrows. This was totally unexpected and a bit odd, but sure, I'll take it. I love me some Mario Maker. Ninja speedruns were also introduced, and basically, these are special courses that you have to complete as fast as you can to try to get better scores and unlock some costumes for your Mii character. We used to play these challenges all the time with Minus World, and I wish they would still be a thing today. Maybe Mario Maker 3 will bring them back. One can only hope. January 2020 is now here, and this new month will bring out tons of cool games, won't it? Well, no, not really. Brain Age for the Nintendo Switch was released, but the last time I played these games was in high school on the DS, so I didn't really care that much. Tokyo Mirage Session FE Encore is now out, but as I mentioned previously, this is not a series I really know anything about, so I didn't pick that one up. A new Smash Bros character was unveiled, Byleth from Fire Emblem 3 Houses. And I mean, cool I guess, it's yet another Fire Emblem character, and that's a bit of a bummer to me, but then again, it looks kinda cool. Mr. Sakurai also stated during that presentation that 6 more DLC characters were planned to come out in the new Fighter Pass Volume 2 DLC, so that's pretty neat. A Pokemon Direct showcasing a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game also happened during that month, and well, it's a pretty fun game, just not my style. An expansion pass for Sword and Shield was also announced, divided into 2 different parts, and well, it actually looks promising, so I'll be on the lookout for that. February was also a very slow month, and I actually didn't buy anything new during that month. There was a Kickstarter campaign created asking for some money to bring the wonderful 101 to the Nintendo Switch, and as a fan of the Wii U version of the game, I actually backed it. And well, I can't wait to play this one again. Nintendo held a direct dedicated to the upcoming Animal Crossing game. And well, I guess it looks good. I'm not really into the whole Animal Crossing series, I just never got around to it, and I guess this one won't be an exception. But I know a lot of people love that game series and were really excited to hear more about the new game. All in all, the Switch's 3rd year was actually pretty dope, with a ton of cool new games and a few remakes here and there. I have a feeling that every gamer had at least one thing for them during that year. A new Mario, a new Zelda, a new Luigi's Mansion, a new Pokemon, and that's only to name a few. Year 3 was definitely better than Year 2, but I still think Year 1 is the greatest of all time. Join me next time as we'll explore the Switch's 4th year, and well, considering what happened in the world during 2020, this next one is gonna be quite interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.